Joining me right now is Republican National Committee Communications Director Sean Spicer here in the studio. Sean, good to see you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, do you blame the media for Trump's rise?
I'm a conservative. I blame the media for a lot of things.
Exactly. It's always the media's
fault.
But
I think it's a double-edged sword. In this particular case, I mean, I think not all of the media coverage of Mr. Trump or any of our candidates has been particularly favorable. It's definitely been a lot because the intensity and the enthusiasm is on the Republican side. But I think it's a double-edged sword. I mean, you could argue some candidates could say that because the media has covered them a certain way, that they're not being portrayed favorably. But look, I don't blame anybody.
Yeah. All in all, voter turnout is up. Yeah. On the Republican side, and it's down on the Democratic side.
Big difference, big difference.
Yeah.
And Breitbart did a really interesting analysis.
I saw that.
On the Democrats versus the Republicans. Look, I think you can talk about ratings and enthusiasm when you actually look at voter registration and turnout. In almost every single one of these states, it's up, and not insignificantly. We're talking 60–70%, especially in the battleground states that are important come this general election.
It's true. And on the Democratic side, Breitbart reported it was 4.5 million down in terms of voter. That's 20% down in terms of voter turnout.
Right. Well, I mean, there's not a lot to get excited about. I mean, you got Hillary Clinton and a 74-year-old socialist from Vermont. That's not exactly exciting.
Let's talk about the convention. I was asking Robert Wolf earlier, who basically is an advisor to President Obama, and now he's supporting Hillary Clinton. I said, look, what does Bernie Sanders want? Right. He said he wants a platform at the convention. On the Republican side, in the convention, what is it going to look like? Who gets the platforms?
Well, first of all, on their side, I mean, I don't know what he wants. Bernie Sanders is going to continue to go all the way to California. I think that's a problem for Hillary, especially if the FBI comes down with an indictment, because he understands that he has won almost as much of the vote. He may not have the delegates because they have a rigged, subsidized system on the Democratic side in terms of how they allocate their delegates. So Bernie Sanders is smart enough to realize that if she gets indicted, he needs to be waiting in the wings. On our side, look, I think we are going to have a fantastic open, convention where either one candidate, and Donald Trump, if he gets to that 1,237 bound delegates, he will become the presumptive nominee. If he doesn't, we will go into an open convention where the delegates will begin a series of votes to choose the nominee.
Yeah, so well, let me get your take on this exit poll, because voters say that if there is no delegate majority, right, that the party should just nominate a candidate with the most votes. That would be Donald Trump.
Right.
Will that happen, or do we stick to the rules going in, even if he's like 68 or 70 short?
You know, I appreciate polls. They're very useful in some ways, but we have a set of rules that we've lived by since 1856. We're going to continue to live by those rules. Let our grassroots folks from coast to coast elect delegates who come to the convention help decide our nominee, our platform, and our rules.
A lot of people say, look, the Republican is not supporting Donald Trump. Obviously, Donald Trump says that, you know, he's not getting the support. Obviously, you guys had a meeting with him recently. What is it going to take for the Republican Party to get behind Donald Trump?
Well, first, I would argue the Republican Party is made up of our grassroots voters, and they are supporting him. They're supporting Senator Cruz, and they're supporting Senator Kasich. Whoever gets the 1,237 delegates, from an official standpoint, from a presumptive nominee perspective, the RNC steps in, and when you have 1,230 bound delegates and you become the presumptive nominee. If you don't have that, then you don't have a majority by default, and we don't have the ability to go in and say to someone, you become that nominee. It is our job to be the fair arbiter of the process, and is to allow the delegates and the voters to participate in this process, not to get in the middle and say Washington's going to choose one candidate or another.
That's exactly right, and that's what the voters want to hear you say, for sure. They want a fair process. What does it mean for the Republican Party to get behind Donald Trump? What is he going to get?
Well, whether it's Donald Trump or anybody else.
Or anybody else, okay.
Because again,
yes, anybody else, that's right.
If you get to 1,237, whether it's before the convention or at the convention, once that happens, you become our nominee. And, well, you become the nominee when you officially get the votes. You become presumptive when you have 1,237 bound delegates, which means that we know you're going to get the vote, and we just start a little bit earlier. And there's certain courtesies and customs that go along with that. We start meeting a lot more, collaborating in terms of where to put staff, how to coordinate resources. Those are the kind of things that you coordinate with a presumptive nominee and a nominee. But the question is when, and the presumptive status is just saying to somebody, we know you've got the votes that are going to be required to get the nomination, and so let's, dispense with a little of the pomp and circumstance and start getting our game together and start coordinating and make sure that we're focusing on the general election.
And right now we know, from Donald Trump to Ted Cruz to John Kasich, they're all meeting with delegates, trying to get their ducks in order ahead of that convention. What about the RNC? How do you prepare for the convention? What does the next couple of months look like? We know Indiana's critical. We know California's critical.
We have 10 states left.
Yeah.
On June 7th, you've got 303 remaining delegates. There's no question that we're going to have to wait until June 7th to know whether or not we have a presumptive nominee. On that day, 172 of those delegates are going to be in California alone. So you're going to have a very, very important night on June 7th. We'll wake up on June 8th. We'll either have somebody that has those delegates or they don't. If they do, we'll sit down and start coordinating things from the convention to, getting that general election strategy ready to go. The good news for any of the individuals is the RNC under Chairman Reince Priebus has been focused for the last 4 years on 2016, on November, so that while they engage in the primary process, we have been focused like a laser on the general election, putting staff out there, getting the opposition research on Hillary Clinton, making sure that our data and digital operation is second to none. We're ready to go for the general, whether we get a presumptive nominee or we wait till Cleveland.
It's going to be an interesting convention.
The eyes of the world are going to be up on us.
It's true.
It's true.
The convention is going to be a global event.
Unequivocally, I think you're going to see a drastic difference between the show that we put on in Cleveland, the democratic process that we unveil, and what you see, the coronation that you see in Philadelphia of Hillary Clinton. We've always known the outcome of this because it's been a rigged system. It truly has been a rigged system on their side with the superdelegates. So we know how Philadelphia is going to end, but Cleveland's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it sure is. And we're going to be there. We're going to take our viewers there as well.
I hope so.
Live in July. Sean, good to see you.
Thank you, Marie.
Thank you so much. Sean Spicer there. ExxonMobil.